Hey guys, so I'm back with you today because I want to do this video for a specific reason. And I just want to talk a little bit right now about ISIS, especially with what went on, with this whole San Bernardino shooting, which I still don't really buy into the media account. As far as I'm concerned, all of it is sketchy. But the interesting thing to me is that specifically in my comment session, I got a lot of people telling me, you're jumping the gun, you're trying to pin this on a white person, these are Muslims, whatever. The media, what I'll say first is the media doesn't cater to smart people and people who are able to think for themselves. The media does not put messages out with a target audience of free thinkers. They don't do that. The media, when they put their propaganda out, they're relying on the ignorance of people in the mainstream. They're relying on the fact that most people get 100% of their information about what's going on in the world from the media, and upon receiving that information, they're not going to do any research. They're not going to fact check. They're not going to actually go and see if what they're being told is true. This is the fact. Initially, when I heard this shooting, they were saying that they were looking for 3 white men. Witness account said they were looking for 3 white men. I am not the only one who heard this. And so what I want you to do, I'm going to play a news clip. I'm going to play 2 different video clips, and I want you to pay very close attention to some of these descriptions. And I want you to pay attention to who they're saying are corroborating these descriptions, and then I'll get back to my main point. But I do want to play this video for you really quickly. So just give me 1 second to. Now listen to this video and then pay very close attention to the description.
But this was the best witness description that we have heard yet. She said that she was in her office looking out a window in this office complex where the assault occurred. She said that she clearly saw 3 gunmen, all dressed in black, armed with what she described as assault rifles and extra magazines. Now, that would match what the police chief in San Bernardino told us just a few minutes ago at his news conference. The chief told us at that point that there are 14 dead, 14 being treated in emergency rooms. He said that those numbers could change, that was the best estimate they have now. 3 gunmen, apparently reported by multiple witnesses, 3 gunmen dressed in black. One witness said that they saw the gunman leave the scene in a dark SUV, but that is the only description that we have. And clearly, at this point in time, the police are desperately trying to get together any witnesses, any description of the gunman that they possibly can.
Now, so I'm going to stop that right there. Now, notice how not only did he say multiple witnesses, not women, multiple witnesses said they saw 3 gunmen. Gunmen means men. We already know with the media, if there is a white person, generally, they're not going to refer to this as a terrorist attack. They're going to try everything they can to not say that this is a terrorist attack. But we already know not only did witnesses say there were 3 gunmen, but also the police chief reported to the news that there was 3 gunmen. Now, I'm going to roll this next clip and listen to this other person's understanding of it as well, because this is also another person who was watching the live stream on the day that this shooting occurred. This person is actually watching the live stream as well. So pay very close attention to what she's reporting that she's hearing as well.
The Young Turks live right now. I have it muted right now at this moment. And I'm also watching this other live stream in San Bernardino. So there was a mass shooting in San Bernardino, California today. Currently they're saying it was 3 white males. They opened fire in the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, which is a center that helps disabled people.
Now I'm going to stop that right there because, okay, clearly I'm not the only one who got this impression that these were white men. So if she's doing this video and she's reporting as she's watching a live stream, as I was actually doing myself when I initially made my video, and I put in the video, I'm literally watching a live stream of CNN News while they're reporting that there were 3 white men that shot up San Bernardino. So this is obviously what we do know. The initial reports said that they were looking for 3 white men. If you have multiple witnesses saying that they saw 3 armed gunmen, then they probably saw 3 armed gunmen. The reason I don't wait for another day to get the facts is because any investigator will tell you that spontaneous utterances, i.e. spontaneous accounts, when you hit people when their emotions are high, when they're in the height of an actual situation that they just witnessed, that's the time when you're going to get the most accurate witness statement from those people. Look it up, research it. Don't go by my word. Research it. That's why if you look on the show 48 Hours, they will tell you if you don't gather as much evidence as you can within those 48 hours, but mostly they literally want to get it within hours of what happened, is because you're going to get the most accurate description of what actually happened. If you wait a while, if you wait a couple or a few days, you're going to get very convoluted statements that contradict itself. If in the news report they're saying we're looking for 3 armed men, and then the police chief is corroborating this 3 armed men, you can best believe somebody probably saw 3 armed men. And definitively, they told them initially these were 3 white men that they're looking for. Now, then you have the very next day, conveniently, because they're not showing any of these people's, they're not showing any of these people's pictures. And the reason that they don't do that, they do that for a very specific reason. Because for some reason, they refuse to label white men terrorists until that they can find another way to try and make it a terrorist attack. So that's number 1. Number 2, the majority of you have absolutely no idea who ISIS actually is. You're going based off the media telling you that it's ISIS. So what they did is, then they want to go find some evidence to support ISIS. None of it actually makes sense to me, but that's because I'm a person that I'm going to actually look at stuff and I'm going to analyze it. I actually sent a text message to myself when I heard about this. I was actually on my way to a dentist appointment. So what I did is I Googled it. I found an article that said 3 white men just shot up San Bernardino. This is when the heat of the moment, hours before I actually came and did a live stream of CNN to actually watch this. When I pulled up that article today, guess what that article said? ISIS. That's what the article said. And so the bottom line of it is, if the media wants to find evidence to support a narrative that they want to put out there, that's what they're going to do. Like I said, why is it that the media can tell you one day, boom, there's an ISIS? No one's asking where ISIS came from, what's their agenda, why are they even around, but everyone wants to jump on the ISIS bandwagon. America is ISIS. If you don't know it, America was founded on white male terrorism. Are we forgetting that? Are we forgetting how our country was actually established? Why people want to jump on the ISIS bandwagon? I'm pretty sure if those witnesses saw a Muslim couple, they would have initially reported a Muslim couple. It is a very different story. You cannot mistake 3 armed men from a Muslim couple. America right now is on high alert for Muslims. Anyone that look from the Middle East is going to be highly scrutinized, and they're going to be said to be terrorists. America is on high alert for terrorist activity. So you mean to tell me that a Muslim couple was able to obtain military grade weaponry and plan out an attack and no one knew about it? Number 1, you can't take guns through customs. So where did these 2 Muslims get their guns from? You cannot take those through customs. So if they have all these military equipments, then you really need to ask yourself, how did they get them? How did they get them? I want to know how this couple that are Muslim got all of these military equipments and was able to perfectly plan and execute an attack in San Bernardino. That is really what I want to know. And I want to know, if initially this was a Muslim couple, then why is it that all the witness statements, as you said, as you heard, even the police chief statement, and I'm going to put this video in the link so you can listen to it. Because at this point, if you want to sit here and believe that these are Muslims, you just really want to believe, you really do want to be ignorant, and you want to fall for the okie doke. And like I said, the media only caters to people who are not free thinkers. That is why they're telling you. So the bottom line of it is, how is it that this Muslim couple obtained all this weaponry? How did they obtain it? Because you have areas now that literally has signs that says no Muslim zone. So you mean to tell me this couple, who is clearly Muslim, who are identifying themselves as a part of ISIS, they're able to go somewhere and obtain all this military grade equipment? How does that make sense? Like, to me, that really doesn't make sense. What happens is, and I notice this is a theme in the media, what will happen is, whenever there's a random Middle Eastern, they're automatically ISIS. They're automatically ISIS. But yet, a white man can go shoot up Planned Parenthood. White kids can go shoot up schools. They can sit there. Dylan Roof can go shoot up a church full of black people. They're never a terrorist. They're never terrorists. They're never terrorists, although they're literally fitting the very legal description of a terrorist, but somehow the media can never tell you that they're terrorists. They can only tell you that a Muslim is a terrorist. They can only tell you that a black person is a criminal, because if you see the differences in how they portray it, they were initially, even before they decided to attach these to Muslim people, they were telling you they're suspects. They just killed 14 people. How are they suspects? That's what I would like to know. If you already know for a fact that they killed 14 people, they are no longer suspects. They are criminals. They are the perpetrator of the crime. But what you guys don't understand is language matters. They're going to pick and choose what words they're going to use. If they tell you that these Muslims are terrorists, when you walk down the street and you see a Muslim, immediately what your mind is going to think of the terrorist. So they're conditioning you to think that Muslims are terrorists. But when they don't tell you that a white man who can go into a church and shoot up a church full of black people, although he's saying, I have to kill you because you're black, you're taking over our country, you're raping our women, how is that not a terrorist? How is it not a terrorist if a white man walks into a Planned Parenthood and he decides to shoot up everyone because of his religious agenda and he doesn't believe in abortion? How is he not a terrorist? Because that's terroristic threats. So my thing is, if you're going to attach every Muslim to ISIS, then you need to attach every white person to the KKK, because that's literally what they're doing. Any random Muslim, they're attaching them to ISIS. Number two, why would ISIS have 13 Twitter accounts? Because there's an article, the one that I pulled up that I sent to myself, that now says they found 13 Twitter accounts dedicated to ISIS. Why is Twitter letting ISIS have 13 American Twitter accounts? Like, it literally makes no sense to me why there's all this either there is no ISIS and they're pulling the okie doke on you, or we really are the dumbest country ever. Because why is it that ISIS can even have 13 Twitter accounts? Why is it that she can even go on Twitter and this so-called woman that's a couple that dropped her baby off, how are they even getting all this information? Conveniently, whenever ISIS wants to make an attack, they sure are shoddy, because they're going right to America and saying, I am ISIS and I attacked your company and I attacked your country. So they are very, very bold. Despite the fact that Syria is currently being bombed by Paris for an attack from ISIS, but yet they're going to sit here and come and say, hi, America, I'm with ISIS too. I have 13 Twitter accounts that I'm repping ISIS on. And not only that, I just went and shot up San Bernardino. Here is your evidence. My question is, that couple died before they even got a chance to question them. So how did they find out they're a part of ISIS? How did this couple have 13 ISIS Twitter accounts? That's what I would like to know, because I feel like people is taking this ISIS propaganda and they're running with it. And that's why I say people need to be free thinkers, because to me, these things immediately stand out as they don't make sense. If the media is confident that they can tell you in one breath, these are three white men, and then tell you in the next one, this is a couple, and an ISIS Muslim couple, they really, really think that you're the dumbest people ever. That literally right there illustrates to you what they think about your intelligence level. Because for me, if someone initially tells me three white men is definitely a far jump from a Muslim couple. Because I find it hard to believe that if initially there was a Muslim couple and witnesses saw that, why wouldn't they just say initially that there was a Muslim couple in here shooting up everybody? Why would they say that there are 3 armed men carrying rifles shooting up this place in San Bernardino? Multiple witness statements said they were looking for 3 men. 3 men is very different than a Muslim couple. So my question is if it was a Muslim couple, why wasn't that said in multiple witness statements at the moment that they gathered them? And if they, how did they even determine in one day without doing any investigation that these are ISIS terrorists? Really? And they have literally all of you guys sitting here jumping on this anti-Muslim ISIS bandwagon when most of you have never seen ISIS. You don't know when the origin of ISIS. You don't know who put together ISIS. You don't know what ISIS' agenda is. You don't know any of that information, but you want to sit here, you want to watch the news, and then you want to get all your information and you want to do absolutely no research because you guys aren't even able to pick up on inconsistencies. Why would you even look at one news outlet when you can look at multiple? There have been inconsistencies across multiple news articles about this story. And now everyone wants to say, oh, you guys are wanting to attach it to white people. Even if we wanted to prove that white men are the real terrorist threats to America, we don't even need this situation. Because I can tell you what, at this very same time that they were putting this ISIS attack in San Bernardino, guess what was actually going on in San Bernardino? Another white cop was shooting an unarmed black man in San Bernardino. So that's really interesting that coincidentally now they need to distract from all this ISIS because you know why? They can't tell you that 3 white men are shooting up San Bernardino after a white man just already shot up Planned Parenthood. A white cop was in Chicago shooting a black teenager 16 different times right after Dylan Roof, right after all these other incidents that occurred. Because you know why? Because then that's going to put too much attention on the pathology of white men. And that's what the media that is run by white men is not going to do. So what you guys should be doing, rather than sitting there trying to pick apart people who are making videos off of actual information that they really did see, what you should be doing is fact checking what you hear in the media. But what you don't want to do is fact check. And that is why you guys won't do the research, especially if you're white. And I just want to ask the white people something really quickly, because I sure do get a lot of comments from white people. If you don't like black people so much, why are you trolling black videos? Like, you would never see me spending my time trying to find YouTube videos made by white people so that I can comment on them and say, oh, I don't like white people. I'm on your video. I just watched your entire video, but I don't like white people. Why are you even there? Like, and I notice this happens a lot with white people. You want to troll black people's videos, and then you want to troll them just to put information that's 1, inaccurate, number 2, makes you look ridiculous, and number 3, you just want to sit on there and tell black people how much you don't like them. It's like, really? Then don't watch the videos. Simple as that. But my thing is that just for people in general, stop paying attention to everything that you hear in the news. Because the thing of it is that the news is only going to tell you what they want you to know, and that information is going to support a narrative. To me, it's very suspect that America has been on this ISIS trip for years and years and years, and right after they started talking about ISIS, now all of a sudden every Muslim is a terrorist, and now all of a sudden ISIS is making back-to-back attacks and they're confessing to it. That's really suspect to me. It is suspect to me when a news article is telling me that there are Muslims who was able to obtain high-grade military weaponry to actually go shoot up a building. Where did they get this weaponry from? Who sold it to them? Because I know one of those dudes is American. So how is he an ISIS terrorist if he's from America? He's not. I don't care where they're saying that's from. She's not smuggling gun and military grade weaponry through customs. It's not happening, especially if she's Muslim. So where did she get these information from? Why is it that Twitter allowed ISIS to make 13 different Twitter accounts? That's what I want to know. So for all of you that want to jump on the ISIS bandwagon, you really need to do some research. If you can answer these questions, which is number 1, when did ISIS begin? Number 2, who started ISIS? Number 3, what is their agenda? Number 4, why are they all of a sudden admitting to all of this stuff? And number 5, what is ISIS central location? Where is the main hub of ISIS at? How many members does ISIS hold? If you guys can't answer these questions, then you should shut up with the ISIS talk. Because what you're doing is you're getting what the media is feeding you. That's what you're doing. The media hasn't given you any definitive evidence that ISIS even exists, beyond them telling you that random Muslims are a part of ISIS. So what you should do is you should learn to think for yourself, go fact check, research ISIS, and then see what's going on. Because like I said, the biggest threat to America is a white man. And aside from this situation, I don't care what anyone says. The bottom line is, aside from this, even if this shooting didn't happen, even if these people were actually Muslim, that doesn't negate anything that I said. White men still have committed more crimes than anyone. The majority of the mass shootings are still committed by white men. You still do have white cop race soldiers shooting unarmed black men. We still are living in a country that was founded on white male terrorism. White men have still, more than any other terrorist group in history, done more heinous acts and more attacks against humanity than anyone. Okay? ISIS haven't scratched the surface of what white men have done. So regardless to what you say, it doesn't matter. America's biggest threat is a white man. And that is why our country is in this condition that it's in, is because it's ran by white men. So aside from this, I don't care if ISIS bombs all of the European countries that ever existed, they still haven't done anything to scratch the surface of what white men in America have done. So why don't you go fact check that? Like, comment, and subscribe.